Coming to you live from the center of Hollywood, California. What were you thinking? With Aaron and Scott. Real talk behind closed doors. It's not just about stupidity, but everything else that comes with it. High octane, energy driven, in your face. Get ready. It's Aaron and Scott.
And welcome to What Were You Thinking, the show that gets to the core of Scott's head and why he does what he does. And
you know what's funny? We should probably tell people why do we call it What Were You Thinking? The thought was at the beginning, that people are nuts, and there are certain of us who pick up on this nutty activity, and the first question that comes to mind is, what the fuck were you thinking?
You're right. People
what
have
are you
asked.
doing?
But you know what? Originally, we were thinking of the show is that we were going to, because we met at the gym.
Right.
And there's some crazy-ass people at the gym that just do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And so originally when we were going to do the show, we were going to do the What Were You Thinking kind of gym fitness area.
And then I brought it to your attention that not only are these idiots in the gym, but they're outside.
Absolutely.
Too.
And then
they're in the post office.
And you were talking about the leaf blower guy,
They're
and
in
then
the
the
market.
bicyclist people.
They're in the
And I'm like,
they're
well,
at the beach.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
So
they're
they're
at
like,
the
well,
hospital.
we can't just do the fitness people. So we just went across the chart, across the board.
So that's how we came up with
Yeah.
What Were You Thinking?
That's right. Gets to the core of why we do what we do. It's the good stuff, the bad stuff, and the things just really piss Scott off.
Well, they piss you off too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
You got to admit, some of these things I've brought up, and then you think about it, you do the little thought process, and you go, shit.
Speaking
really
of that,
does.
so I'm at the grocery store today, right?
Right.
This woman comes up and says, hey, you know, what time is it? So I pull out my clock, and I show her the time. As at the same time, this other woman says, oh, what time is it? And I'm like,
To you?
To me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what I did?
No.
I now have a watch on my right hand. So I got two clocks, just in case somebody says two people at once. That way I can just,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about other people. I really am.
What if three
It's
people
really.
ask? I'm just curious. What if three people ask? You got one on your ankle?
Then I'm doing
Wear a pair of shorts?
a Cirque du Soleil act, right?
Yeah. You could just cartwheel through
But
the
this
store.
is weird, though. I mean, actually, I'm not. I feel a little retarded with a watch on my
Well,
right
Aaron, if you
wrist.
didn't feel retarded by wearing a clock on your arm, what's two going to matter? Now he's got two clocks on his arm. By the way, my clock's over there. My watch.
But I got to say, no, because this watch is really heavy. It's a diver's watch.
Oh.
But it's my wrist is starting
Do you
to
dive a lot?
Yeah, I do. Just swim with the great whites and dive with
avid
them.
diver. Didn't know that.
Used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got bit?
Well, until I found out that great whites were now migrating into the Pacific Northwest area in Puget Sound. Yeah, I was
In what?
Puget Sound. I'm from Seattle.
Okay.
And so great whites breed along the whole Oregon coast. So they've been kind of going into colder waters, and they're finding them in Seattle.
This is probably because of global warming, right?
I don't know.
Screwing everything up.
I just don't dive anymore. I leave that that's their territory.
If you go down there real deep and you find a bird's nest, global warming's really fucked everything up.
Yeah.
A bird's nest.
I have great news for you.
I hope so.
You're going to like this because you're in a kind of a pissy mood today.
Not really. Yeah. I am a shitty ass mood.
But I'm here to cheer you up.
I got a flat tire on Cahuenga in Hollywood.
Did
I
you
was pissed.
Did you change your tire?
I was about to, and then I realized, why do I pay for AAA?
And so you had AAA come out.
It came right out. The guy fucking whipped it on and off, and he said thanks, and I said thanks, and
It's great.
everybody was happy.
In a timely manner. You didn't have to wait too long.
They told me it was going to be 90 minutes. The guy was there about 12 minutes later.
Wow.
So that's always nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
He was
cool.
nice. He was very nice.
But the good news I wanted to tell you is that...
Well, I'm not done.
I'm sorry.
We had tea afterwards. And then...
And Triscuits.
No, just tea.
Oh, just tea.
And then he told me about his family. Go on. I don't even know why I went there. It's ridiculous.
Because
I'm
you are a
embarrassed.
caring guy.
I am embarrassed.
Underneath all that blackness.
I am embarrassed for all parties concerned.
I don't know. I'm starting this trend is black
Why
shirt
don't you
every
just
week
tell
now.
me what's going to happen here? You said you had good news.
Well, I did. You're going to like this. We were talking about bicyclists and how they should have
I hate them.
a driver's license. Well, they do. I actually did some research. Yeah, you bicyclists out there listening right now, you better have a sticker on your bike because you can get ticketed if you don't have a license. And but it's $3 to get the sticker, and if a police officer catches you without a sticker, it's a $10 fine.
When's the last time you saw some asshole on two wheels getting a ticket for not having a license? What do you put it on your fender?
I actually kind of laugh because I'm like, well, I mean,
what is it? Is it something you have in your pocket? Is it something
on
your
we
fender?
pay for our sticker tab renewal? I think mine was $350.
Yeah.
And if I get a ticket, it's certainly not $10. That's a little messed up. I'm sorry. I was a little angry actually when I read that.
Well, this could be a little matter of, the weight of the vehicle maybe. Maybe the heavier vehicles beat up the roads, and we all know how often they change the roads here in LA.
I've seen some heavy.
Hold on. Is it something they put in their pocket, a driver's license, or is it like a little license?
It's a sticker that just sticks right on their
showing that what?
That they have a license.
You passed the test?
Yeah.
What test do they take? Did you see the test?
There's no test.
What kind of a fucking license is that? They don't even know the rules of the road yet, and they're getting a license?
That would be like us just getting a driver's license without taking the test, right?
Again, I say, these people are causing accidents. They're the first one that are going to get killed in an accident and cost somebody hundreds of thousands of dollars.
All I'm saying is at least they need a license. It's not like, but you're right.
What do you mean? It doesn't mean shit.
But you're right.
The license doesn't even count.
When was the last time you saw a police officer
pulling him over and writing him a ticket for his non-license?
I haven't.
But it doesn't even mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
Who's collecting how much is it for a license for your bike?
$3. $10. The city.
Where do you go to get
you go
the
to
DMV?
No, you go to LAstreetblog.org.
Is that a little bike club?
It's a bike club.
A bunch of retards. Sorry. I don't mean to say retards.
For the special people that ride the short bus.
Okay, let me just clear it up before somebody gets upset because I said the word retard.
You've already pissed off people.
I'm not saying retard in the way of it's like politically incorrect.
Yeah.
It is politically incorrect.
Yeah, I know.
Why, you know what? I said retard.
All right.
Sorry.
I thought that news was going to cheer you up. Obviously, made you worse. Let's try another tactic here. Another news.
Do you have something better?
I do. You're going to like this one.
Wait, how was that last subject supposed to make me feel good?
Because at least...
I don't feel better.
Well, at least they have to pay something. My whole,
But they don't pay for anything. I swear to God, this whole bike thing. You know what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to just start going to emptying air out of tires.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I made it clear. I'm going to do that. Anyway.
They're going to nickname you the Tire Slasher.
I'll be the Tire Bandit. I got a flat today. It's only fair.
All right. Well, are you ready for the good news?
You mean better than the last one?
Yeah, better than the bicycle license.
You got a drum roll? I'm ready.
Mrs. Doubtfire is returning to the big screen.
Robin Williams?
Robin Williams.
You're kidding.
I'm dead serious.
That was a really funny movie.
I know.
What is it?
Well, it was the big hit in 1993. They actually tried to, since 1993, they've been working on doing a sequel. But they failed script after script after script. Robin Williams just turned down every single script. It just wasn't... didn't
hit him right.
Didn't get him right. But they finally he finally agreed to a script.
You know that house is in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I believe it's on Scott Street in Pacific Heights. I believe it's Scott Street.
And
how did I know
you
this?
Just know that?
I just know that. I've seen it. I mean, it's one of the things where they drive you through San Francisco and they say, what's his name was killed here, and then they did Mrs. Doubtfire here.
Yeah.
The little tour vans.
Mm-hmm.
People went to jail over there on that little island.
Right.
Over here we have a bridge where people jump off of. It's actually
Yes.
a very fun city.
But it was a no-brainer for them to do this movie because it made $219 million.
It was a funny movie.
And then $222 million internationally, so across. So, yeah, they wanted to do another one.
Wow.
So it'll be interesting on the, the tactic. And if they're going to bring back, what's her name?
Why is it when women are chatting like they are out there, they sound like cats getting screwed?
Seriously.
You hear that? Yakety yak, yak, yak.
Wow. John,
They're
I thought
gone
the
now.
studio was soundproofed.
I hear women.
Yeah.
They sound like cats.
They do.
They sound like cats in an alley getting nails.
Scratching each other.
Fighting.
You're hearing it, but it's not coming through the mics, which is a good thing.
So everybody hears it. I'm hearing voices. Several of them.
So, did that cheer you up?
No. Try again. You got another story?
All right, here's the trivia for you. Why does airplane food taste so bad? I know you love flying. Just kidding. You hate flying.
I don't.
But have you ever had food on a plane?
Yeah, when I went to Germany.
And do you like it?
It wasn't bad. It was Lufthansa, though.
Okay.
Well, not our shitty food. It was German food.
Most people can. There's a distinct taste between airplane food and cuisine, or if you're.
I wouldn't compare it to a really nice restaurant, if that's what you're saying.
People have always complained, just saying, that airplane food is
sucks.
it sucks.
Yeah.
Depending if you're having chicken or fish, which I would never have fish on a plane. I'm sorry, or pasta. but they're saying it's not. So there was a guy who, what's his name? Oh, Grant Mickles. He's the executive chef for Sky Chefs, and so he kind of oversees all the food. He says that it's the reason why that airplane food tastes so bad. It's actually not the food.
What is it?
It's the
The
people.
altitude?
It's us. Yeah. At 35,000 feet, the first thing that goes is our sense of taste. Who knew?
Why'd the peanuts taste the same? They taste the same.
Well, there was a study done
Coke tastes the
of
same.
why things do, but basically there's what do they do? I'm looking for my notes here. Okay, so the cabin atmosphere at 8,000 feet combined with the cool, dry cabin air makes your taste buds go numb. So almost if you had like a cold. So in fact, our perception of saltiness and sweetness drop by 30% at being at a high altitude. Interesting, right?
That's a thought.
Yeah, no, but they did a test.
Once again, Aaron, you've been remarkable in cheering me up.
And then so now this is good. General Mills, right? The makers of cereal like Cheerios.
Cheerios,
Chex,
non-GMO.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now you got my attention.
All right. And then brands like Biscuit and Betty Crocker, they have now added basically anybody who goes to their website gets a coupon or enters into a sweepstakes.
Yeah.
They have basically, they cannot sue the company at all.
Wait a minute. If you join their sweepstakes?
Correct.
What's their sweepstakes? Chance to win money? Pancakes?
Prizes, yeah. A year's supply of pancakes.
So if you join, you can't sue them.
Correct.
Why would you sue them?
They're just, people are so happy. My pancakes tasted like crap. I don't know.
So if you got like
Jimmy,
poison,
my son choked on I don't know.
you can't sue them.
You can't sue them.
Interesting.
Yeah, they've added it into their policy. But if you actually do that, it's you're basically waiving your right of suing them. And actually, more companies are catching on. Right.
So everybody wants people to join.
So everybody, yeah.
You know what I say? All you need is a really good lawyer. That's the end of it.
Of course.
They can always find a way to get
It's
you.
like that parking lot you park in. It says, we're not responsible for your stolen stuff. Yeah,
Yes,
well,
they
actually,
are.
they
They
are.
are.
I know.
And any good lawyer is going to make it so. They just do that
Well, you
because
just
they're
got-
going to weed out a lot of the
You have
dummies.
and you have to have a lot of money
Yeah. Or
to
just
take
good
on General
attorney.
Mills,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they've got a few bucks.
Uh-huh.
Those Cheerios people.
Yeah.
Tonight,
Yes.
we have my allergies suck. I'm on all kinds of natural stuff from this natural path. I feel great. We have Dr. Mallett on,
We do.
a chiropractor.
Speaking of Mallett, he adjusted me earlier.
You feel
I already
lucky?
have blood flowing because he had, it's interesting how us moving just on a daily basis, picking something up, moving, shifting, whatever, even if you have your wallet in a back pocket, can actually offset and shift your hips or, you tweak something. But I feel really good now. My shoulders feeling.
Well, you know how we're always talking about things that come up, GMO, vaccines, whatever, just things. And I always say, too bad we didn't have Chett here on this show. You know what I mean?
But we have them tonight.
We have him.
Yeah.
So we need to come up with some of those, too bad we didn't have Chett on the show questions that have been happening. You know what I mean, John? I've said it like
when he comes on,
100 times.
No, when he comes on, also too, for listeners to have him call in, ask questions, anything. It's just
People do send email questions.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, if you have questions, you can either email or you can call in direct. People are still shy to call in, except the psychos. The psychos call.
we love the psychos.
The psychos are
No,
cool.
but they're good people.
It'd be nice,
We welcome everyone.
We do. We do. And if
do
you
well.
watch the show regularly, we do.
We listen to everybody.
Who was it you said we need to hear from if she's out there? The one with the bipolar daughter.
Charlene.
I thought it was Charlene.
It was Charlene Webster.
I thought so.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The woman with the bipolar daughter.
I really want to, and actually, I think.
She's a mean mom.
Well, no, her daughter was a little crazy. I feel sorry. I was telling you because my sister's kind of bipolar. It's a lot if somebody's putting up with a bipolar child.
Is she really bipolar?
Well, she really is.
She's diagnosed.
She hasn't, but she is.
Well, wait, Aaron the diagnoser?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, imagine me. I'm talking really nice to you.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I want to kill you 5 minutes later. What do you? I mean,
Just crazy. We call that crazy. There's a word for it.
no. There's
It's
a reason
crazy.
for that. There's a medical.
Why do we have to come out with a new word when crazy pretty much covered the bases? You're fucking crazy. No, we call that bipolar. Isn't it funny?
It's a nice way of saying you're crazy.
Crazy wasn't mean until they came up with another word. Crazy was just crazy. Crazy actually is kind of interesting.
Well, crazy's at the top, right? Then it branches off into several crazies.
Yeah.
Bipolar, schizophrenic, or whatever,
Crazy's crazy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So does your sister, she's just totally cool 1 minute and then off the handle crazy the next?
Yeah.
Really?
She'll call me up. Nothing, hi, brother, not I love you. I need $100. Right off the bat. I'm like, no. Well, F you. Yeah.
She says that?
Yeah.
She says, fuck you?
Yeah, and then she hangs up.
Oh, that brings up F you. There's a new movie coming out. Have you heard about this movie? GMO Foods, Katie Couric.
Okay.
It's kind of like, what's that one guy, the fat guy who was doing all the restaurants and the fast food stuff? Michael Moore.
Yes.
Cool guy. He's
Yeah.
chubby.
Yeah.
So I don't mean to be mean, say the fat guy, but he is fat. Anyway, Katie Couric's coming out with a movie. It's called, I think it shows a picture of two M&Ms. F-U, like fuck you.
Right.
But it's supposed to be, I think it's called Fed Up. I think. Is
You're
it?
right. Yes.
Katie
Wow.
Couric. I saw the movie trailer. Watch it on YouTube. You know all this stuff I go on about all
What
the
am I
time?
looking for? So FU, is that
Just
what?
go to
No,
FU.
FedUpMovie.com.
FedUpMovie.com.
All right.
So all this stuff I go on about with the GMOs and all that
Right.
stuff, well, this movie is going to shock the shit out of everybody. Her husband died of colon cancer. She had a bout with cancer. You know Katie Couric.
Yeah.
She's huge.
Right.
That right there is going to pull everybody in. They're poisoning us. The food industry is poisoning us. Our food industry is poisoning us. Since I've been on this diet, okay, so I go and I see this naturopath, and he's a nice guy, but I can't eat gluten for a month. I can't eat gluten, dairy, or conventional meats.
Free
Has to
range
be
chicken.
free
So
range
no
chicken,
chicken on steroids.
grass-fed meats, and no sugar.
So by the time you're done, you can be $1.25.
You can't get anything to eat at a normal restaurant.
Am I going to recognize you? You're not going to be.
I'm going to be very lean.
You're going to be very lean.
Gonna lean,
Yeah.
tight.
So
no,
if I poke your tummy, you're not going to go.
that's the fat guy, the little puffy thing. What was his name?
The Doughboy.
It's the doughboy.
Doughboy, yeah.
Little Pillsbury boy.
Anyway,
Yeah, sorry.
So
You're not doughy.
yeah, no, I can't.
You're fluffy.
Oh, Jesus,
Sorry.
Aaron. What was I saying now? Before all that,
You were talking about. No.
the diet.
Yeah,
you
your
can't
diet.
go in a restaurant and find food to eat that's good for you. Everything's got to be, and the wheat. The reason the gluten is so bad, now they are saying, many experts are saying that you don't have to have, what's that disease?
Celiac disease.
Celiac disease
Yeah.
to have a problem. The human body is not designed to handle gluten. And the levels at which it's at now, it's not like it was 50 years ago. Because of the GMO processing, our gluten's like on roids now.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's causing Alzheimer's. It's adding to it. It's digestive problems. So I'll see how I feel after. I'm just eating a lot of good stuff. I'm not going to go to a twig. I'm not going to be 140 fucking pounds, Pecker. Anyway.
I think you should change careers.
Why?
I don't know. I could just see you in the medical field. Yeah. Helping people. Dr. Scott, you wear exactly that, but you're like in a white coat, maybe over that black T-shirt.
Exactly this, huh?
Exactly that.
So you were
Walking
going in a
strollers.
totally complimentary direction, and then you had to cut to the
Well, no,
comedy.
because that's your
wear
sig-
this.
that's your signature.
Wear this. Look like you're going to
Yeah.
murder the patient.
And people are like, no, I want Dr. Scott. No, that's not Dr. Scott. That's Dr. Scott.
That's Dr. Scott.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I happen to surround myself with really good doctors.
You do.
And my favorite one is on this show tonight.
Yes.
He is very, very good. We can ask him questions about this stuff too. But Katie Couric, that movie, it's going to be amazing. And people, I gripe about it all the time, but you're going to see why it's killing you. And you don't even know it's killing you. They say it diabetes by 2050, 1/3.
How is it that Americans aren't even really
Americans.
complaining about this?
Because they don't even know they're being poisoned. If you're having diarrhea all the time, or you're having constipation all the time, or you're hot, or you're cold, you don't feel good, you don't have energy, it's gluten. Gluten is affecting everybody. You don't have to have celiac disease to have it affect you badly.
Right.
Everybody is affected by it.
Are people just that clueless? They just absolutely have. Oh, maybe it was that last chocolate
many
chip
people-
cookie
how many
or
people-
ice cream or
How many people did we talk to when we mentioned GMO? Wrote in on our show.
That's true.
What's GMO?
Yeah.
The people we had on our show.
Yeah.
What's GMO?
Right.
People don't even know what GMO is. You think they're going to know what gluten
Everybody
is?
lives in their own little bubble.
I didn't realize what gluten was 2 years ago until it started
My
being
sister-in-law
gluten-free.
is allergic to gluten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you're allergic to it, you can get severely sick.
Absolutely.
Quickly.
And her son also. He had severe stomach cramps, pains, and they found out he was allergic to it. Got him off. He's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But getting it off, it's like, and people are probably going, what's gluten? It's in anything. It's in most things, but specifically all breads, all pastries.
Right.
And the wonderful thing about our shitty ass food country is that it's not just gluten, it's GMO and gluten. We're getting fake bad shit.
Yeah.
We're not even getting fake bad real food. Have you ever looked at the back of Coffee Mate to see what's in it?
No. What's in it?
It starts off with what is it? What's that horrible what's that horrible thing? Syrup. Corn syrup.
High fructose corn syrup.
High fructose corn syrup, I think, is the first thing. And then it goes on to soybean oil.
Now, you know when
everything.
When you
deadly.
look at the back of a product, right?
Yeah.
The very first ingredient, that is the consumption mostly of what that product is made of. In order from the first all the way to the last.
Yes.
So, folks, if you're reading the back of the ingredients and it's like, oh, there's this in it.
Yeah.
At what point in that ingredient is it towards the bottom or the top? Because if it's the first thing, that's primarily what that is.
And it was the first thing. And believe me, though, the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth must have been a fucking tie for the top.
I don't do Coffee Mate. I do like almond milk or coconut.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, no, Coffee Mate. Wait, it's the powdered thing? What's the powder?
Well, it comes. It's both.
I'm talking about the powdered.
Correct. It will it comes in the liquid form.
Do you want to know?
Powder.
You say how stupid can people be? I'm not stupid, but I used that stuff off and on for years. Never looked at the label.
Nobody does.
You know why I looked at the label the other day? Because I have this new fantastic diet I'm on. So I took a glance at it. I was like, I've been eating this for this long. It should have a skull and crossbones on it.
Or they look at sugar-free, and then they're doing
sugar-free is not good
but
either.
But then they're doing this sugar alcohol, and then they're doing then fat-free. But these manufacturers are throwing on the front fat-free. So people pick up, they see the fat-free, they don't look at the back because they're fat-free.
Okay, when Chett gets on here, Dr. Mallett, I'm going to ask him because there is something to do with trans fat on labeling. There's a labeling law. If it's under 0.500 trans fat, they can say it's trans fat free legally when it's got trans fat in it. Did you know that? I don't know the number. You didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
That's a
Yeah, no, it's my that just means I'm intrigued. That's an intrigued sound.
That's the you got my attention sound. Oh my God.
That's when my ears perk up. Yeah.
You sound like a weirdo at a park looking at kids. Oh my Lord.
What's your name, boy?
Teletubby. Oh my God. So anyway.
I got to say, okay, completely off the subject, but okay. You would think that mouthwash is good for you, or we'll say Listerine, right? Because it kills germs. But they're actually saying now that Listerine can cause cancer.
Oh my God!
Right?
What
because
the hell?
everything causes cancer, right? Yeah, but they're saying Listerine with alcohol because what it does is that alcohol removes some of the lining or that protects inside of our mouths. So removing that protection of whatever it is basically just makes more.
Okay, you just confused me. Did you say Listerine with alcohol?
With alcohol.
But
a lot of mouthwashes have alcohol in it.
So you're not saying you use Listerine and then you take a swig of gin?
No.
Okay.
I'm saying the alcohol that they have in a mouthwash.
Listerine definitely has alcohol.
Correct. So they're saying to avoid alcohol in mouthwashes. Because
how many people have been doing this all along?
Right, I know. That's why everyone's dying of cancer.
Oh my God.
It's that Listerine.
Well, do you remember that Listerine actually came out with they had an ad running on their commercials. So good you don't even have to floss. Do you remember that campaign?
Yeah.
Did you notice how it got cut from the airwaves and then out in the newspapers and everything? It said, no, you do need to floss. It doesn't take the place of flossing.
Right.
What a hell of a sales thing, though. Huh?
Uh-huh.
Hey, flossing's boring, and it's a pain in the ass. And I don't know about you, but it digs into my fingers, pisses me off. So here's the thing. Can you imagine you just get away with a little... Spit it out. You're done.
Quick. It's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess people were just relying on their Listerine.
Well, it doesn't get the chicken out between your teeth.
No, it doesn't.
No.
You got to eat chicken.
So you got rotting meat in your mouth.
That's charming.
Which is why people have, maybe bad breath. Maybe you're not good for a date night.
We call that butt breath.
Butt breath?
It's called butt breath.
How do you know what butt breath smells like?
It's somebody who's got ass mouth. You call them butt breath. Somebody's got bad breath.
How do you know what ass smells like?
Well, I smelled it when this one. Okay, I'm not going to say who, but there was
wink.
Hold on. There was a certain guy who would go into a certain office where I have friends who work.
Okay.
And he would work on their technical end of things. And when he was in that office, the whole fucking office stunk like an outhouse. That's what I call, and it was him.
Was he just farting?
No, he wasn't farting. He was breathing. He had butt breath. This guy had the worst butt breath I've ever smelled, and it was like, seriously, it was like you walking into an outhouse. And so my joke with this one friend of mine is if we're driving on the freeway, and a real bad smell out of nowhere just comes in, I say, hey, what's he in the back panting? Well, you got what's his name in the back seat? He's panting.
It's pretty bad if somebody is overcoming a room of that stench.
Not a room, a hallway, a room, an entranceway.
And I just would have, you know what? At that point, you need to be direct with the person. Say, I'm sorry, but your breath smells like ass.
Everybody knew it in this office too, but he was there,
and nobody said anything.
Oh,
everybody just inhaled ass breath.
I don't know that they did say anything. Well, one of them may have. But anyway, I went in.
I would have walked out with the Febreze.
Febreze.
Or no, Lysol.
You don't need it you need to remove the roof. A crane needs to come out, rip him out, and it needs to just be evacuated, the air.
Turpentine the walls.
So this guy, Listerine would run from him. If he went to grab the bottle, it would move to the left. He went to grab to the left.
You're not putting me in your mouth.
No. It's like, you know what, ass man, you're on your own.
Ass man.
Okay, so
I like that.
But the thing is I walked into the office,
Yeah.
and I said, "What the hell is that smell?" I mean, it stunk. I thought it was sewage. I thought it was a backed up line. They said, "No, what's his name?" I said, "What's his name?" They said, "The guy who's doing
I've heard of a dog licking its ass, but maybe this guy was able to lick his ass.
I don't think he was licking his ass, but he definitely had his mouth on somebody's ass. It was really bad. John, you should have smelled it. It was terrible.
Really?
And it's one of those things that when he leaves, and you leave, you still got it in your brain.
It lingers.
You're still smelling it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh God, that guy in his ass mouth.
It won't leave. You know what? Because it gets into your clothes. Okay, you know
what? It wasn't in your clothes. It's in your brain.
Remember our very first show when we had the guys that had the oversized dicks, that had their oversized.
Let's clear this up. They weren't oversized. They had
injections.
They were injected.
Right, okay, they had injected cocks.
Yeah.
That were just like balloon size crazy. But those guys had that foul body odor. And at the end of the show,
I hope they're not watching.
Anyway, they know this. They do this on purpose.
I think it's their thing.
Anybody who knows, if you go to the gym and you have that guy that just smells really bad,
they
do that because it's on purpose. They don't shower.
It's a turn on.
They wear the same clothes for a week.
Some sort of weird
guys
sick
had
fetish.
that smell. They touched. Remember, they were taking pictures of us.
Oh God!
And I got into my car. And I'm like, God, what is that? Like that ass smell?
That wasn't real ass. That was like, it was a mixture.
It was bad. I had to go home.
Ass.
I had to wash my clothes right away. I had to shower. I had to scrub myself.
That guy, that smell, just talking about it repulses me. It's like, I swear to God, it's like if you were eating dinner with him.
I was laughing because after we took the pictures, I remember you were grabbing your shirt. You're like, where did that come from?
They got it on
I'm
me
like, dude.
too.
Yeah.
And so say you're sitting with somebody and they're sitting across from you at a table and they're eating, and all of a sudden you smell something and you're like, oh my God, would somebody fart? And he's like, no, I burped.
You know what they need to do? But Febreze needs to come out with a travel size Banaka can where you can go airplane, bus, any transit, any sort of like where someone just smells, you just pull out that Febreze.
Yeah. What time is it?
30 minutes in. 6:30.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's
cut to commercial.
Let's commercial.
Yes.
And then let's bring Mr. Dr. Mallett.
I was waiting for.
Let me check on my time. Yeah, we're good.
Beautiful. You ready? Go for it.
Yo.
It's Aaron and Scott. What were you thinking? Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. What if you heard something but did nothing? What if the music you love was gone forever? Check this out. A truly intense and tightly wound app, optimized with stunning retina graphics and crystal clear electronic audio. DJ Dubstep Kit, built specifically for dubstep enthusiasts and DJs everywhere. 5 stars rate DJs around the world. Create your own dubstep music for commercial use today. Visit dubstepkit.com. Mansion Fitness, the only place where you need to train. We've selected only the best fitness trainers to ensure you reach your personal fitness goals quickly and safely. This is the real deal in personal training, not some random trainer giving you a haphazard workout on the fly. We feel strongly about what we do and we wouldn't put our brand on anything less. Visit us at mansionfitness.com and create a new you today. That's mansionfitness.com. No membership required. From the darkness below, an intense and thrilling game by the creators of App Code Source, bringing the ultimate Gangnam game directly to your devices. Gangnam Speedrunner, now available on your app store. Get ready to run. This app is rated G for Gangnam. Visit GangnamSpeedrunner.com. Work it.
Okay, so we have Dr. Mallett with us. Hello, Dr. Mallett. Say hello to everybody. So do you know what I was talking about with the trans fat thing, the legally being able to say it's trans fat free, but it actually has trans fat in it if it's under a certain amount?
Well, I know that like Pam was a good example. You know, the pan cooking spray was a good example of that. It can say 0 amount of fat in it. It's 100% fat.
Yeah.
Because a serving, whatever you consider a serving is 0.5 of an ounce, you know.
Yeah.
And so you can make something 100% fat to say it's fat free because it's under that serving. So, you know, legalese.
Isn't that just wonderful?
It is.
Fucking.
Who sets these guidelines? I mean,
whoever's paying the FDA to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the FDA is just loaded with Monsanto's employees.
Now, why is it actually, because I'm in the
Wait a minute. What?
The FDA is all connected with like Monsanto's and other corporations. It's a revolving door for the government for Clarence Thomas. He was a Monsanto lawyer, and he's a Supreme Court and rules in their favor every single time.
There you go.
I do have a question.
And for people who don't know, Monsanto is the king of GMO.
Yes.
Go on.
No, I was with me being in the fitness industry, training people, and obviously, how come supplements are not FDA approved?
People
have always asked me that. Why?
Every few years they do try to put that under the guise of the FDA, and the nutraceutical company, the whole nutrition company or industry fights it tooth and nail, and you're very wise to keep it.
Thank God.
Fought off.
Yeah.
You do not want something especially as corrupt as the FDA managing your supplements, because guaranteed your supplements will be 500 to 5,000 times more of a cost than what they are right now.
We'll need
less
prescriptions
effective
too, right?
Well, fish oil went through that. They actually made a prescription fish oil, which was literally,
what?
If I remember right, somewhere along the numbers of 3,000 times more expensive than regular fish oil. I mean, literally, you're spending $1,500 a month or something ridiculously stupid for prescription fish oil.
Right.
Now, it wasn't even real fish oil, was it? It was.
No, they were using. No, it had. What you're looking at in fish oil is you're looking for the DHA and the EPA. Whenever you're looking for fish oil, you're not looking for fish oil.
But
not really
synthetic. Didn't something synthetic about it?
No, what they were doing was they were hydrogenating it. So they were just like margarine. So all the effects of fish oil. My theory on this, and my little conspiracy theory, is that fish oil has been studied for a long time. Many cultures have studied it. The Swedes, Norways, they've all studied, showed amazing results across a plethora of conditions and diseases and just general health. And they know it works, and it's getting so much momentum, and people are using it. It's great for developing, brains when you're young. You got to get fish oils to kids.
Right.
They develop their connections their neurons a little better. But what happened was the pharmaceutical industry knew that this was like kind of taking over some of their statin drugs, their heart disease issues, because it was improving their conditions in these realms.
But explain that. Fish oil also helps heart disease.
Well,
right?
heart disease. Well, it has. I mean, it's basically what the fish oil is made of. The DHA and the EPA is partially what your cells, the constituency of your cells, are built out of. I mean, it's just overall health. Part of it's like pieces of material you need in your body to make you run properly. That's a simple way of saying it. But they made a higher grade of EPA DHA by pharmaceuticals, and they could tout that. Like, you get so much more of what's good because you're not looking for your omega-3. You're looking for what's inside the omega-3, which is the EPA and DHA. Now, those are the magic things you want to look for. Now, that they were able to tout that, but then they couldn't stabilize it as long on the shelf because fish oil is, what it is. So they attached hydrogen atoms to it like they would with margarine, and then, of course, negated the whole purpose of it, which then they're going to do all of their studies on this pharmaceutical grade because the rest of them, natural fish oil that you get from the fish is not good enough. You have to use this standardized pharmaceutical grade, and you're going to do your studies, and then it's going to show you it doesn't do anything.
Now, what
so
about
don't take it.
What about the milligrams, like the 250, the 500 milligrams, and 1,000? Is that really? Because I take 1,000 milligrams fish oil.
No, you're just looking at the milligrams. Look on the back and see where it says it'll always have a DHA and the EPA. You want those to, it kind of fluctuates. People have different opinions, anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000, sometimes 2,500 milligrams a day of that. With those two added together, you add those up, and that's the number you get.
So when they did these tests on the synthetic one that the pharmaceutical companies came out with, what happened?
Synthetic, I don't know. It was they just hydrogenated it,
Okay, on the hydrogenated ones. So they did these tests, and then they found
I say this is what I say they're going to be doing over the next several years, is doing their studies, prove that fish oil isn't more effective than a statin drug or whatever they're using it against.
But they're not using the real fish oil.
They're not using the real, pure, natural.
The hydrogen attached.
Yeah.
In their...
Well, you're going to talk about what doesn't the public know, because they're going to say, look, we did fish oils. They don't work. We're the experts. And they're going to, don't take fish oils. Yeah. So chronic diseases can continue, and pharmaceutical companies can make more money, and, there we go.
Right. Nice.
That's a system. But that's on the issue I wanted to talk about. Were you talking about GMO and that? For anybody who's interested, you can go to March Against Monsanto's, because next month, I think it's 24th or something. They do them periodically throughout the year. There are rallies, like people get together and they do marching against the Monsanto. So
when was the last one?
I think it was March, actually. I think it was coming up May as well, or June. I can't remember. But there was one on March 24th, I think.
Right. And how many people? Do you know?
I don't remember. But
there should be millions.
There should be.
Where the hell is everybody?
The awareness
is what it was doing to your kids.
The awareness is getting better. And actually, you know what's interesting? I got to say really quick. I was watching The Simpsons.
Yeah.
The other week.
Yeah.
They did a whole episode on GMO.
Right.
Literally, the whole show was based around how bad GMO was.
What were you just saying? If people knew how bad it was for their kids,
if they knew what it was doing, I mean, top geneticists in the world, and I, prove me wrong. I mean, there's top geneticists in the world who are complaining about this, saying this is not what you do. This is a complete disaster. On the good front, though, is like France, of course, is leading out of many, many countries are. But France is really leading the charge against GMO. They just renewed another moratorium on nothing GMO. Germany and Hungary, you can go on and on and on.
Yeah, Japan, China, Australia.
All the rest of the developed world is not doing it because their scientists are saying this is going to cause cancer, this is going to cause disease, this is going to kill you younger, don't be doing this. All except us. We look like the climate deniers to the world.
Now, here's the other thing. Are you aware that our food will not be purchased from a lot of these other countries? No, they've turned it back.
I mean, Haiti even took Monsanto or whoever's U.S. gift of grain to them after the earthquake and burned it on the tarmac because it was GMO, because they know better than to feed their kids that crap.
Wow. I could see how Americans are kind of poo-pooing this, because there's always something new on the news, don't drink coffee, don't do this, don't do that. And it's just so many alarms going off, and everyone's just like, are you kidding me? Just like I said earlier with the Listerine, it's like, the alcohol, turning away the lining inside the mouth, now making it more acceptable for bacteria to then turn into cancer. So like all this stuff, and everyone's just like, everything causes cancer. So everyone's just, I think they're bombarded so much with so much stuff that with the GMO, they're like,
Here's the difference.
Look at it this way. I mean, there's going to be more resources for you when you get older.
Yeah. Because a lot of people are going to die. But of all those things you were just saying, GMO pretty much covers all of our food.
But it just seems like there's
I understand what you're
everyone's
saying.
nitpicking everything. So
eggs
people
are bad,
like,
eggs are good.
Well,
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get it.
It's like the egg yolks are now good for you. And
first of all, that's you talk about natural food. Just think logically for a minute. What was natural? What did we eat for thousands of years? What kept us alive for? The notion that we died at 30 years of age, years ago is ridiculous. I mean, Aristotle and Plato were in their 70s and 80s. I mean, there are people in Japan like Okinawa who live a very natural life past 100 all over the place without all the modern science around them. Hygiene was a big determination for us to live longer. And we don't die of so many accidents. We don't have so many people like killing us or animals chasing us like we used to. So we're living longer a lot of times because of that. So, but what did we eat? We ate natural foods. My great-grandparents ate, eggs, bacon, all that, lived in their 90s, constantly. I eat eggs solidly. My cholesterol is fine. I eat 3 to 4 eggs a day.
Okay, but there is a difference between grass-fed bacon, so to speak.
Oh yeah, I mean absolutely.
Yeah.
When if it's free
and
range,
raw eggs,
basically you call
real
it free range.
real eggs, free range eggs,
free range, natural diet.
Because the fat in the bacon, in the natural bacon, is not as bad as the fat in the conventional bacon.
Absolutely.
Right? That you buy.
It's like when I talk
Jimmy
about raw
Dean.
milk.
Well, for instance, they had a big thing on the
Yes.
news about Foster Farms with the chicken. It was either salmonella or it was what's the other one?
Salmonella is primarily the biggest culprit in the chicken.
Yeah, but it's just because when you're talking about salmonella, that's from a sick chicken, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so you got
healthy chickens don't have salmonella.
Right.
Just like healthy beef does not have E. coli.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason why you're seeing E. coli and all the spinach in that is because they're fertilizing it with cows who are feeding grain and corn
From sick cows.
who are getting E. coli and then putting it onto your plant and then you're consuming it and there you go.
And then they give them the antibiotics. You have a sick animal, they give them antibiotics,
Right.
and they still give us the meat from it.
Yeah.
That's just wonderful.
Well, you just cook it to death and hopefully it kills everything.
No, it's I don't know. It's unbelievable. I saw this naturopath the other day, and he had mentioned when he told me you need to eat chicken that's free-range chicken, he said, do not go and just get your regular store-bought chicken. He said there is something in it when it's not cooked enough. It's not salmonella. It was something else that he found they find in all of the chicken, conventional chicken. I wish I could remember.
That does what?
It's not good for you.
Okay.
And that's why he gave me this herb that gets rid of it. Ta-da! Magic.
Now, obviously,
happened.
free range chicken's going to cost more, right?
Yeah.
You pay for
you pay for the
you pay for your health. You pay for your health
That's
through
true.
nutrition, or you pay through it
because everyone's a penny pincher now these days.
You're going to pay it through medicine, or you're going to pay it through food. So
you go to Costco, you see this gigantic chicken for $4.99.
Right.
Then you go to Whole Foods and you see this little itty bitty dried up thing for like $15.
Yeah.
What are most people going to do? They're going to Costco.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And it really
It's
tastes
about bulk
good.
and it's about savings and
But here's
they'll
the
cross
difference.
their fingers.
Why is a chicken over at Whole Foods so small, and why is this monster at Costco?
Because one's on steroids and one's
Yeah.
not.
They got them all jacked
You have
up.
a free range chicken. You got one that's working out in the gym.
Not working out, pumping his ass full of roids.
Yeah, and working out at the gym.
Exactly. I think our free range ones are working out in the gym too, but it's like, I don't know. Anyway,
They're the natural athletes.
Have you heard of the movie I was talking about?
no, I haven't
Fed Up.
actually. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
There's
F
there's a
you.
lot of good shows too. I mean, I sometimes cite talk about what is it, Farmageddon and those types of there's a couple other ones out there, documentaries that have been pretty good too.
Yeah.
Like
Do you have any questions for Chett?
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, he's here. We're always talking about stuff, and we go, God, it's too bad Chett wasn't here. Dr. Mallett could answer these things for us.
Well, I was thinking. So the other day on the news, I was watching. They had a whole thing about kids, getting their shots and. Okay.
Vaccinations, you mean?
Yeah, the vaccinations. Now, in a private school setting, they were saying that you have to have the shots. In a public school, they were saying that the kids, it's up to the parents' choice. But then there was an outbreak, or there was a kid who got sick, who contracted something, was hospitalized because one parent chose their child not to get vaccinated, or they wanted to space out the time of the vaccinations because they didn't want to have so many shots at one given time. They wanted to break it out over like a 5-year period, and that's a really big thing right now in the school systems. So, I know we had you on before. We kind of talked about vaccination, and shots, and as far as time,
Yeah, you're talking.
a lot of talk. I know, but like in a, I guess in a nutshell.
Nutshells.
Really?
Talking.
No, we don't need a nutshell.
Well,
Let's
you-
just talk till we're out of
well,
time.
I'm just saying. But I mean, okay. Well, let's start with this. Is it okay for a child to have the recommended shots that a clinic wants to give them at one
Again,
time?
when you're going to talk on a pro or a con on vaccinations, you need time because any comment you have is going to be the other side thinking you're a complete nut job.
Of
Because
course, yeah.
it takes you a long time to explain your point of view.
Right.
And to
Yeah.
explain how educated you are on why you choose what you choose. Most people who choose not to vaccinate are not crazy conspiracy theorists. They're literally people who care about their children, who do tremendous amount of research and join groups and read and understand. And I mean, there's a lot of arguments why and why not to. But I mean, when it comes down to a private school, yeah, you have to do what the private school says.
Right.
That's there are exemptions in all states, depending if you want to go with some are philosophical, some are religious, and some are medical reasons you can keep from getting vaccinated. I mean, I can go on to a very large.
Let me ask you something. With Japan, wasn't it Japan?
Japan was a great example because what Japan said was that they did some studies saying that they were having a really hard time giving the children the schedule of shots that they were giving them so close together. Some people say that it's equated to giving 30 times the amount of those doses to an adult, that they're way beyond what a child should be taking in. So Japan was having a very high rate, of course, of SIDS, or sudden infant death syndrome. There's different reasons why that happens. But they claimed in their research that they were able to reduce their SIDS rates by 85% just by spreading out the
vaccinations.
schedule. Which I always want to put a shout out to Jenny McCarthy because, I mean, she's, there's a lot of people who have been anti-vaccines. She hasn't really been anti-vaccine. She's just talking about, can we just look at this a little bit more logically, maybe spread it out and make sure it's safe? And they rip into her constantly. I mean, the girl from Blossom, you don't hear her rip into her. She's a PhD in neuroscience and not in favor of vaccines. Why don't they go after her? Because Jenny McCarthy's an easy target.
Yeah.
And, she cared about her child. She watched her child go through autism. And whether you want to, disagree with her, agree with her, to be as awful and mean as people have been to her, I think it's just disgusting. These aren't other, I can go.
Well, I think in a nutshell, it's really about educating. And that was one thing that these doctors were really saying on the news. It's about educating. And
So the babies,
that's all they can do.
The babies were dying, sudden infant death syndrome.
Yes.
In their cribs. And they found that by reducing the amount of vaccinations that are given in one small period of time.
They spread them out over years rather than just within months or days.
And then they got that down to 85%.
85% of it just dropped 85% overnight.
So maybe if they wanted to get it 100%.
We're the only country in the world that vaccinates to the level that we vaccinate.
So we are still vaccinating to the point where Japan says, no, we won't do that.
No other country will do it to the amount we do it.
How you remember when we were kids?
Do we have that many more diseases than the other countries?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we have very sick people.
We're inventing them.
The whole concept of illness, comes from, Western science thinks we can fight a disease, where generally what humans do and they should be doing is protecting themselves against a disease, meaning keeping the environment inhospitable for the disease to take place in the first place, meaning health, your immune system, your nutrition, all that. What makes you a perfect, specimen of a human being so that you can defend yourself? If you're weak, if you got some sort of mutation, and as horrible as this, diseases out there are going to take advantage of that just like any organism and take you out. Some say that's a good thing. Some say that's a bad thing because are we making ourselves weaker as a species or stronger?
When we were kids, years and years ago, what was it, 7 to 10 vaccines you got? By the time you were 10?
I wasn't vaccinated.
No, but
yeah, something around
it was
there,
like somewhere around 7 to 10. Now it's up to what, 35, I've heard?
Yeah, it's closer to 40 now.
That's 40 vaccinations for a little tiny person. Unfucking believable. People, you got to see the movie. It's called F.U. Katie Couric. It's not fuck you. It's fed up. Anyway, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So here I am. I'm doing the anti thing. I'm not doing the gluten. I'm not doing the dairy. I'm just cleaning everything out.
It'll be interesting to see how you feel too. And I think you're actually going to feel a lot better, especially getting off that dairy. I don't even have my clients, get them off the dairy.
Can I make a real quick thing about the dairy? The difference between raw, fresh, we talked about that one before.
Right.
Raw, fresh, healthy, normal dairy.
Correct.
And pasteurized is a big difference.
Correct.
Most studies are done on the pasteurized and show you, of course, it's going to make you sick. It's rancid food.
It's a bad experiment.
I just go down the middle because they know my clients are going to go and just buy the cheapest.
Well, then they're
crap.
Then they should.
So that's why I just eliminate it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them to buy raw milk.
They're not going to buy raw milk.
Well, then tell them
they're lazy.
The lazy asses. Well,
That's
they're
why
working out.
That's why they hired me, because they're lazy. They can't do it on their own. I got to do
Maybe
it for them.
charge them a little extra and walk them down to the store. We don't buy this.
There you go.
We buy this.
There you go.
Anyway.
There's a movement in the bodybuilding right now using raw milk because it's a better absorption of protein and
All right.
assimilation of.
All right, we are at a time.
Thank you, Dr. Mallett,
Thank
for
you so
coming
much for
on.
coming in.
Dr.
And,
Mallett is on Cole Street in Hollywood, right across the street from Gold's Gym.
And it's bodystructurela.com.
Okay, we'll see everybody next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you.